Dr. Sheila Nazarian is an Iranian American who fled the 1979 Islamic Revolution as a child. We also have Blaine Holt, who's a retired Brigadier General at the U.S. Air Force, and Ryan McBeth, who's an open source intelligence analyst. Great panel for this. Thank you all for coming on Sunday Report. General Holt, I want to start with you. You have President Trump. He wants a commitment from Iran that they will not pursue a nuclear weapon. But even if they agree to that, I mean, how do we hold them accountable?
Well, we're going to hold them accountable because we're going to have eyes on this the rest of the way through. Look, what I see emerging, and it's going to look very complicated as we report the news and as we report what's going on. There are three factions that think they're in control and the leaders of Iran. But right now, you've got two, the foreign minister and the speaker of the parliament, who are actually negotiating. But to the extent that they make any kind of announcements on any kind of deal, they would go home to bullets by the IRGC and whatever's left of the Ayatollah. Meanwhile, they've got to answer to 90 million Iranians who want their country back. So we're going to see a lot of fog of war, a lot of disinformation, social media posts that don't make sense. But what is going to happen is a deal will be cut, and it's going to look a lot like a Venezuela operation, like Delcy Rodriguez is now suddenly a great fan of America.
Right.
You're going to see that happen. It's just going to take a little time.
Well, I want to stay with you, General. How difficult would it be to retrieve that enriched uranium? Would we need boots on the ground? And I mean, would this possibly cause more casualties?
Well, we would have to be welcomed in there. We're not going to be fighting our way in to go get that material. It's a hot spot anyway, and likely what would happen after the engineering assessment is made, a full one, is we'll probably have to help by putting a sarcophagus around it, much like Chernobyl.
Yeah.
And if it is removable, well, then we have the pros to do that too, but it would be in cooperation with the new Iranian government.
Great point. Sheila, where's this uprising that was expected here of the Iranian people? Is this coming? And why have we not seen it yet?
Because they're just like you and me, John. Imagine, you have your wife at home, you have kids, you have a job, you have a life, and you're supposed to what? Just go up in front of the IRGC unarmed on a suicide mission?
Right.
They're not going to do it. They're not stupid. They're just like you and me. And without arms, they're not going to attack. I just do want to say something, John. This I don't think is going to be like a Venezuela type situation, and I'll tell you why. Venezuela, the leaders were driven by normal things, power, money, etc. The leadership in Iran is driven by Islam and a worldwide caliphate. And yes, they like money. Yes, they like power.
Right.
But they are driven by a different ideology. And Trump said the devil's in the details. And I would dare say the devil is in the IRGC. We are negotiating with the devil. Whatever they say, they will do whatever they want on the side, in secret. There's no way to fully monitor every single move that they make. They will lie like they have for the last 50 years in order to propagate Islam and a worldwide caliphate. So this is not apples to apples with Venezuela. And unless they are completely rooted out, this cancer is eliminated, we are going to be having this exact conversation, or worse, our children and grandchildren will.
Right. This is
actually the IRGC doesn't make it out of this alive in the scenario that I'm painting for you. And what is left is a couple of ministers who probably have to make peace with the Iranian people, and the Islamic Caliphate disappears completely. Mojtaba is probably not even alive. So the idea that there's some sort of Islamic Republic of Iran that emerges out of this whole thing, not going to happen.
Yeah, Ryan, I want to bring you into the conversation here. I want to get your take on this. The IRGC's Navy is parading around this new high-speed missile boat through the streets. But I thought we blew up everything that they've got. What is Iran's play here? Is this a morale boost for the IRGC?
Well, they have traditionally placed military equipment on parade that may not necessarily be part of production. One of the ways we actually gather intelligence on their missile systems is they parade these missile systems and they give it a totally different name. We go, wait a minute, well, I know that one. That's a Korad 5, and they just gave it a different name. So occasionally they do things like this. For the most part, it is difficult to destroy every single speedboat. And Iran could take a civilian boat, paint the thing gray, call it a mine layer. In fact, now it is a mine layer, right? If you take a civilian boat, the military confiscates it, it can drop mines in the water. Okay, we got a mine layer. So They can call it a new high-speed boat. This thing could have been taken from a marina and is now repurposed for military use.
Right.
Look, this whole thing is a propaganda operation by the IRGC.
Always is. General Holt, we've run out of time, but I want to get this question in because we know that Iran is watching this political fallout from what's happening with the war here in the U.S. We have the midterms coming up. They continue to stall and delay. Are they watching that, knowing that potentially there's some political ramifications here for President Trump with this war?
They are, and then the other part is they had a really sweet deal with Lloyd's of London to lock up the Straits financially and threaten other shipping companies, but all that's going to be dissipating soon. Time is absolutely not on their side. And the Iranian resistance, well, that is a real thing, and it is on the force and ready to go. They're just waiting for the go, and it's just not going to happen until everything is in place. Part of that in place is elimination of IRGC assets, and Scott Bessent's doing a great job bankrupting them, and that's one of those preliminary steps to ending this whole thing. Won't end without bombs, though.
Right. Sheila, I'll ask you about this, is the partial internet outage. It's apparently returned now to Iran after this 3-month blackout. Clearly, I mean, this is how things get sent around. This is how information is spread through the internet. What are you hearing from your sources there?
You know, I was just having this conversation with my father yesterday. I said, why isn't more coming out? He said they are terrified. We are seeing videos coming out of those nights in January where so many protesters, tens of thousands, were murdered in the streets unarmed. But, you know, I think people are absolutely terrified. They feel like they're on a roller coaster with the words that are coming out of our administration. We understand on our end, like the general said, you know, our time is on our side. They are losing money every single day. They are becoming weaker and weaker by the day.
Yeah.
The people in Iran are like, where is the help that was promised to us? And they're just not putting out a lot of content because they're really scared.
Absolutely. We will continue to watch. Obviously, this is a big week here with President Trump, and he wants a deal in place. Dr. Sheila Nazarian, General Holt, Ryan McBeth, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks a lot.